This is one seed, three branches. In video 1, Abraham and the birth of identity. Hey, it's me, C. Rice, and here's another way to see Abraham. This is the first video in a 3-part series about the Torah, the Bible, the Quran, and the evolution of human consciousness. But before we get to Abraham, we have to begin with God. In my understanding, God is not a ruler sitting somewhere outside the universe. God is the living presence within which everything exists. Everything imaginable is within God, and God is within everything imagined. God is not absent. God has never been absent. Then we come to Eden. What happens in Eden? Human beings become aware. They awaken to imagination. They become conscious of themselves. They recognize choice. They recognize good and evil. They recognize that they are alive. They recognize that they are naked. Before that awakening, there is existence. After that awakening, there is self-awareness. Humanity begins asking, who am I? But what comes after individual awareness? Collective identity. Who are we? Where do we belong? Who are our people? What story connects us? And that is where Abraham becomes important. Most people know Abraham as the father of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. But what if Abraham's story also represents the birth of collective human identity? Look at what appears around Abraham. A chosen people, a promised land, a covenant, a bloodline, circumcision as a physical mark of belonging, a shared story passed from one generation to the next. All of these things establish identity. They create a we. And whenever human beings create a we, they also create a they. But that does not automatically mean identity is evil. Identity gives people belonging. It gives people family. It gives people purpose. It gives people a shared memory. It allows tribes, cultures, nations, and religions to form. Identity helps human beings organize themselves. But identity also creates boundaries. My people, my land, your land, my belief, your belief, the chosen and the unchosen, the faithful and the unfaithful, the clean and the unclean. Maybe Abraham's not showing us which group God loves more. Maybe Abraham has shown us a stage in the development of human consciousness. First, humanity awakens itself. Then humanity organizes itself through identity. Adam and Eve ask, who am I? Abraham's story asks, who are we? And once people know who they are, another question appears. How are we supposed to live together? That question leads us to Moses. Law, order, rules, structure. So perhaps these stories are doing more than telling us what happened long ago. Perhaps they're also showing us how human consciousness develops. Awareness, identity, structure, and eventually something beyond identity. Because identity may help us develop, but it can also become a prison. A person can become so attached to a religion, race, nation, family, political group, reputation, or personal history that they can no longer see the human being standing right in front of them. They only see the label. Maybe Abraham represents a necessary stage, but perhaps the story does not end there. Perhaps consciousness was always meant to keep moving. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm offering another way to see Abraham. What if Abraham represents the birth of collective identity? And what if the Torah, Bible, and Quran preserve different parts of humanity's journey through identity? In the next video, we'll look at Moses, the prophets, and Jesus, and ask whether Jesus represents the movement beyond identity. I'm C. Rice, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.